gear up.
I'm just gonna go get some tea.
Okay, now, I think a good place to start is really with a little bit of background. So, Laurence Pierce is not an old Bostonian. He's a New Yorker. And, you know, that has very special resonance in New England. So I'll ask him to really tell us about his early life and how a New Yorker came to be amongst us.
Well, I woke up one morning and here I was in Boston. Still trying to figure that out. But no, I followed my then fiance, now wife, Thelma, up here. We met in New England Jones Advertising Agency in New York. And she's an only child, and her mother took ill, so she had to come home, and I just followed her up here. So that's how I wound up in Boston. I'm from the Bronx. I was born in the South Bronx. I'm a Navy veteran and a graduate of the School of Visual Arts in New York. I've been in Boston for about a little more than 20 years now. And I'm having a hell of a time. I love this place. I love the history. I mean, every time you turn around and bump into something, it's something historical, old, and interesting. So I believe in being in the right place in the right time, and here I am.
What's the source of your interest? I mean, when do you start to have an interest in visual arts?
As far back as I can remember, to be honest with you, there was a children's show called Winky Dink.
Mm-hmm.
Who remembers that? And you used to,
Unfortunately.
the thing was to put, the kids were encouraged to put like a plastic screen on the television screen.
Right.
Draw with the arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
So you were doing that?
I was doing that until I ran out of plastic.
Yeah.
And then I started drawing directly on the screen.
Yeah, that's it.
And my mother went ballistic. So that was the end of that phase of my career. But she did give me a wreath of drawing paper. So
Okay.
Now, what other kinds of background experiences formed you early on? I know you served in the armed forces and so forth. So what are some of the other experiences that you think are important in your formation?
I was at the NATO base in Catholic Iceland for a couple of years. I worked at the TV station there. It was during the time of Nixon-Humphrey election.
Yeah.
And I was asked to do like these big murals of George Wallace,
Oh.
Richard Nixon, and Hubert Humphrey.
Really?
Yeah. So,
Did you make the beaver?
and I didn't do the horns. But I suppose that was the beginning of my interest in politics. It certainly influenced the way politics has influenced my art.
And how would you say politics has influenced your art?
Well, for instance, one of the pieces that are on display now called, well, there are two pieces. There's one called Shithole Country, where
We'll get to images of those in a moment.
the teacher and me had to do a piece when I heard on a right-wing talk show on the radio. This was when the Haitian boat people were coming on, and people were calling in and saying, well, what are those people that have done for us? And I called in what was his name, Mo Lazier, you know him? Anyway, I called in and I said, I don't have the exact facts in my head, but I heard that there were Haitian troops that actually joined the Americans in fighting against the British. And soon after I hung up, some woman called up and said, hey, that idiot, he was probably talking about the Hessians. You know?
What?
So then I let that go. And then a few calls later, some professor from Harvard called in to talk about some other subject, and before we hung up, and he said, oh, and by the way, a few calls back, that caller was actually correct. It was the Battle of Savannah, in 1789, where Haitian troops volunteered to come and help the Americans defeat the British.
Henri Christophe in particular was present in Savannah, and he later was one of the three fathers of Haitian independence, along with J.J. Dessalines and Toussaint Louverture. Now, I know you've been interested in teaching.
Yes.
Say something about the importance of teaching in your own thinking and work.
I taught preschool at Dimmock for 8 years, and I still run into some of my little ones saying, "Mr. Larry," but they're
grown.
growing fast. It's scary. But yeah, I developed a curriculum called Art for Life, and I also taught at an after-school program called Smart Kids. So that was a very, very rewarding experience.
What was your hope for those teaching situations?
Well, you catch kids at the beginning of the development of their personality. So you're right there, and you can actually, you position yourself at a time that where you can be an influence, or as minor as it may seem in their development. So I was proud and privileged to be in that situation. Didn't think that I would last 8 years. My first couple of weeks on the job, it's like, nah. First of all, I caught a cold from this little Haitian girl, and I just laid up. But yeah, I grew into the job. I watched some of the veteran teachers, especially this one woman who could walk into a room and not say a word and just calm and unruly crass. And I said, I want to learn how to do that. You know, and I don't know if I quite got it, but it was quite an experience in learning how to interact with the kids.